Hey guys, welcome to another quick video. In this one I'm going to be going over keybinds, where to use them, how to set them up, how I personally have set them up on my characters, how to avoid and get away from clicking and just moving your mouse over to click abilities, etc. I'm going to be covering that in this video. If you've never heard of WoW-Mania before, this is a Wrath the Lich King private server that's been going on for a good few years. It's in an amazing place with a great community. This is their main website. If you want more information on, you can check out this website. And yeah, overall, it's just an amazing server. I've been here for about 2 years or so, and it's been good. If you ever need help in game or in Discord, you can message me there. So obviously this shows the members online. So that's me, Ablitz. So if you ever need any assistance in the game or more information than these videos provide, you can definitely reach out. So yeah, so let's go into game. Let's get this video started. Hey guys, so I'm now in game. I want to use an account where I don't mind my add-ons being disabled, and obviously no keybinds have been set, so we can get into it. So before we get started, I'm just going to explain what a clicker is when I say clicker. So it's basically speaking, it's exactly how it sounds. So it's going to be a player that goes to an enemy, he's looking down at the bottom of the screen, and he's manually pressing abilities like this. So all I'm doing is focusing at the bottom of the screen and pressing abilities. So this is a really slow way of obviously attacking, DPSing. Mostly because your attention is always going to be at the bottom of your screen where your mouse is going to be to press, and that gives you a big disadvantage when the boss is doing a certain mechanic where you have to move or something's happening and you need your focus on obviously on the screen, and you're focusing at the bottom. So I personally have a Razor Naga in my right hand, and I use a Razor Tataris, which is like Razor's interpretation of a gamepad. So obviously that's overkill. You don't need anything like that to start. When you're starting from being a clicker to a keybinder in a way, to start, all you need is a mouse with at least 2 buttons on the side, mouse button 4, mouse button 5, and that can get you started straight away. So when I say keybinds, when we talk about keybinds, most players just go for like the F keys, F1 to F6 or F5 or whatever. So that in itself has a bit of a disadvantage because your hand from WASD is moving up. It's moving up a bit, so when you got to move, you're gonna have to move your fingers back down, and that can cause a few issues, and that's just not probably the best place to start. If you're keybinding, you can get away with it on some classes like casters, for example. If you're just having your fingers higher up on the keyboard and you're just pressing your abilities, then you're moving, you got a bit more time. As a melee though, it's just not something you really want to get into, and especially in PvP where movement can give you a big advantage. So yeah, let's go into the settings. Let's go to keybinds. If you watch my previous video, I did suggest I've put in strafe left as A, strafe right as D. Turn left and turn right we're going to disable. The reason for this, we're going to use Q and E for these keybinds now, so this one's going to come into practice. So I'm going to go to keybinds as I was on. So we're going to start from the top, action bar functions, action bar 1 through 9. So that's your basic bar at the bottom. So when I first started to keybind, I just used my numbers on the keyboard a bit higher up than WASD. 6 was a bit far to press, so I quite liked setting that as G. Obviously this is going to be all personal preference, but the main focus, what we're trying to achieve here, is keep your fingers as close together to WASD as possible. We can also use shift and control modifiers, which we'll get into, but just making that one change to G, and you can put abilities such as, I have Savage Roar on that ability, that keybind. On my Warlock I have Corruption. On the Mage I probably have Fire Blast. Just basic spells you don't press as much, or you only press once every 30 seconds or so, that can be there. Obviously 1 through 5 is going to be your main rotation abilities. So another thing as well, if you got a mouse button 4, mouse button 5, we can start to really start setting our keybinds properly up. So I'm going to put that as mouse button 4, action button 7, action button 8 I can put as mouse button 5, action button 9 I can put as middle mouse. So all I've done there is just made a few changes. I've changed 3 keybinds to these, and now I can start to move my abilities around. Obviously you can go a bit higher, so if you go to multi-action bar bindings bottom left, you can probably put that. Probably going to be best is middle mouse. Number 2 is probably going to be best is mouse button 4. This is probably going to be best is mouse button 5. So that's how I have it on my feral, my main feral. Just having that there is quite good. So another great thing you can do is set your bars and your abilities and spells in a certain order. So like I previously said, 1 through 5 is your main abilities. Above here I generally have my offensive cooldowns, movement increases, then we start going to CCs, and then we can go into AoE abilities. On the far bar over here, I generally, on most of my characters, have all my defensive cooldowns like Ice Block, Bark Skin, Survival Instincts, Death Coil, just defensive cooldowns you can put there. So that's a really good way to set your bars. So all you got to do if you're fighting a boss, you can have a quick glance down, see what's off cooldown, and then you can go back to your keybinds, and it isn't as focused as the bottom. You aren't focused in the bottom of your screen. I can make 2 more changes because now we have Q and E. So if I go to my keybinds and I go to this, and I go back up to the top where our normal action bar function is, I can set 7 as Q and A to Z if I want to try that. And that's as far as you really need to go to start practicing and start learning keybinds. I can get used to this now. All I'm going to do is I'm going to be using my number pad on my keyboard. So it's going to be quick getting access to it. I'm a lot quicker. I can have a look down. I'm more focused on my surroundings and everything that's going on. Obviously Q and E can now become spammable buttons. So Q is really good for swipe, and obviously you can change that to your spam buttons. Whirlwind on a warrior. What else could be? You know, it could be abilities that you constantly spam. I like having E on Fairy Fire on my feral because it's something I'm going to click off cooldown to try and get an omen proc to happen. So that's generally what I do on the feral. Like I said before, they are good keybinds and they are bad keybinds. Keeping your keybinds as close together as possible is going to be the best way to start learning and just start seeing bigger improvements. The further away you have keybinds, if you're using the F keys, then you've got another keybind on V. You know, it's like your hands playing the piano on your keyboard. It's not optimized. It's best to set a few keybinds, try get used to it. Maybe have a look at your keyboard, think of buttons that are easy to press, something you don't use as much, and then set them. So for example now, Hurricane. So that's one. I don't know if you were playing Boomy for example and it's there. Obviously this is feral but you don't really use. So I can go to my keybinds. Let's go to, this will be bottom action bar left. So scroll down to it, multi action bindings, bottom left action bar. I'm going to set this to R, say. I can set this one as Shift R. So we can now use Shift and Control as modifiers. So I can even have Control R. So I've got three sets of R there. R, Shift R, Control R. You can really start customizing your layout. So R could just be entangling roots. Shift R could be maim. Control R could be pounce. It's quite good to have the same type of ability on the same button. For example, on all my classes, all my characters, I'm always going to have Shift W and Control W. What I generally use that for is Shift W is always going to be a movement increase. So on a mage it could be blink. Obviously on the cat it's going to be dash. Control W and this on all my characters is always going to be my boots. Obviously on this character I don't have the Naruto boots enchant, but I just put it there just as a demonstration. So Control W is dead quick. You're always pressing W to move. So a Shift W and a Control W for movement increases just makes sense to me. Obviously it's all personal preference. You could find other keybinds that make more sense to you. the general idea is getting away from clicking your spells, clicking your abilities, making a few changes and trying to adjust to it. Take it in raids, make one, two, three different keybinds to change. Take it in a raid and see how you feel with it. Try and remember where they are. So I obviously, if you set something as easy as Shift W, you know that's going to be a movement increase, for example. Try set the same type of keybinds on all your characters. Example, your offensive spells is always going to be on your mouse. Your defensive could be E, could be Q on all your characters. It's just getting that same level on all your characters. I'm going to show you my main character, how I have all my keybinds set. I'm still going through the process of changing because obviously I've upgraded to a Razor Naga and a Razor Tataris, so I'm making a few adjustments. But I'm going to show you now, guys, now what I personally use on my accounts. So stick around for that. Okay guys, so I'm now on my main character. This is how I have my keybind set. As previously stated, I've got a Razor Naga which I'm slowly adjusting to, so there's going to be a couple of keybinds I don't use as much, such as Shift T. Shift G is a really good one, as we're using G quite a lot with our Fire Blast or whatever spell you've got in G instead of pressing 6. Obviously my movement keys, Shift W is blink, Control W is my boots, and it's really quick. So if you're on a Lich King fight, for example, and your defile's on you and you've accidentally stayed in the middle of the group, or if you have to run to get the spell to the off tank, having something really quick while your hands next to W, or around that area, Control W dead quick, you can get there. It gives you a massive advantage in game setting keybinds. I also have Shift R and Control R, and I use this on my characters for AoE abilities. So on a mage, as you guys should know, Flame Strike ranks 8 and rank 9 stack, so it's nice to have them they're close to each other, so I can press them really quick and get that off. And yeah, so that's generally my keybind layout. So if I just show you on this, if you want to have a look, so this is how I have it set. All my keybinds, shift middle mouse, all that's just normal. This is another thing, make sure you unbind action page 1 to this. All these, unbind them. You can cause problems where you're holding shift down and you accidentally scroll down on the mouse wheel, and all your ability bar flips to the next one, which will be blank, and it's just a bit of a hassle to deal with. So unbind them, you never use them, you never need them, and that should be perfect. So yeah, so this is my keybinds. If you want, pause and check it out. Go down to here, middle mouse button 4, mouse button 5, shift W, control W, shift mouse wheel up, mouse wheel down. Yeah, so these are what I use, and as always, shift E, control G is generally my defensive cooldowns. So yeah, have a play with that, and leave a comment and tell me how you found this information. If you need more help, maybe setting them, personally setting them to you in game, just drop me a message. I'll be able to assist you with it. And I think the next video I'll be making will be on a 25 heroic explanation, probably on the PP fight, as I have some footage spare I can use. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please check out the WoW-Mania website in the description, and yeah, have a great day. Thank you very much.